What if I told you that being nice might be the very thing holding you back from the life you deserve? Have you ever felt drained, unappreciated, or taken for granted despite your best intentions? Let's uncover the truth about what it means to respect yourself, set boundaries, and demand the life you're worth. Welcome to Motivation for Success, where we inspire you to rise, thrive, and achieve greatness. Today, inspired by the wisdom of legendary actor and motivational speaker Denzel Washington, we're going to dive deep into why being too nice might just be sabotaging your self-worth. You don't want to miss this, so stay tuned until the end, and let's embark on a transformative journey together. Too often, being nice becomes a trap, a cycle where kindness is mistaken for weakness. This isn't about kindness being a flaw, it's about how it's perceived and the boundaries we fail to set. Denzel Washington famously said, "You teach people how to treat you by what you allow." Let that sink in. Every time you overextend yourself to please others, you're sending a subtle message: my needs can wait. My peace is secondary to your comfort. And people take that cue, consciously or unconsciously, and act accordingly. Let's dig deeper. Think about the last time you said yes to something when every fiber of your being wanted to scream no. Maybe it was staying late at work to help a colleague who never reciprocates, or agreeing to plans you dreaded because you didn't want to disappoint a friend. These moments might seem harmless in isolation, but over time, they snowball. They build a pattern where your time, energy, and even your happiness take a backseat to others' expectations. That's the trap. Here's a tough question for you: how often do you prioritize someone else's happiness at the expense of your peace? Be honest. The truth is, being overly accommodating doesn't just strain your emotional reserves, it diminishes your self-worth. It's like saying to the world, "I'll tolerate less than I deserve just to avoid conflict or maintain harmony." And guess what? When you give off that message, people start believing it. They assume you're okay with being taken for granted. This isn't to say that kindness is a bad thing. In fact, true kindness is one of the most powerful and admirable qualities anyone can possess. But here's the catch: kindness without boundaries isn't kindness, it's compliance. It's the act of bending and breaking yourself to fit someone else's narrative. And let's be real, when you let others overstep your boundaries, you aren't just undervaluing yourself, you're teaching them to do the same. Denzel's wisdom offers a profound truth: you're in control of how people treat you. That means setting boundaries isn't just an act of self-preservation, it's an act of self-respect. Think about it this way: when you stand up for yourself, you aren't being selfish, you're teaching others how to value you. This shift starts with a question: how do you want people to treat you? With respect? With care? With reciprocity? If the answer is yes, you need to reflect those qualities in how you treat yourself. Here's an eye-opener: when you consistently put others' needs above your own, you're essentially prioritizing their comfort over your peace. But imagine flipping the script. Imagine a version of you who unapologetically protects their time and energy, who says no when needed, and who values their peace over pleasing everyone else. What would that look like? Wouldn't that version of you feel freer, more confident, and far less drained? Let's face it, people will take as much as you're willing to give. It's human nature. But here's the good news: you can change the narrative. You can decide, starting today, that your time, energy, and happiness are just as important as anyone else's. It doesn't mean being unkind or uncaring. It means being deliberate about where you invest your kindness. Kindness paired with self-respect isn't weakness, it's strength. So, let's make it personal. Take a moment and ask yourself, where in your life are you being nice out of obligation instead of genuine care? Is it with friends who only call when they need something? A partner who takes more than they give? A job that drains you without appreciation? Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward reclaiming your power. Once you've identified them, take action. Start small. Say no when you need to, without over-explaining. Set boundaries that prioritize your peace. And most importantly, remember this: you are worthy of the same respect and care you so freely give to others. When you start treating yourself with that level of respect, the world will follow suit. It's not just about being kind to others, it's about being kind to yourself. And that's the kind of kindness that changes everything. Here's the hard truth: being nice won't earn you respect. Respect isn't a reward for good behavior or self-sacrifice, it's a reflection of how you value yourself. Denzel Washington reminds us, you teach people how to treat you by what you allow. Respect doesn't come from being agreeable or endlessly accommodating, it comes when you establish boundaries, stand firm, and demand reciprocity. Respect isn't about being liked, it's about showing others that your time, energy, and well-being are non-negotiable. Think about your own life. Are you in a relationship, a job, or a friendship where you're constantly giving but rarely receiving? Does the thought of confrontation or disappointing others keep you locked in a cycle of overgiving? If so, you're not alone. Many people fall into this trap, confusing approval with respect. It feels good to be liked, doesn't it? But here's the problem: when you prioritize being liked over being respected, you hand over the control of your self-worth to others. Imagine this scenario: your friend or colleague repeatedly asks for your help, and you always oblige, even when it inconveniences you. Over time, they come to expect your assistance, taking it for granted. You might feel a fleeting sense of satisfaction from being helpful, but what happens when you need their support and it's not reciprocated? That sting of disappointment is a reminder that respect wasn't part of the equation, it was a one-sided exchange. The opinions, moods, and validations of others become your lifeline when you're stuck in this approval-seeking cycle. But here's the truth: relying on external validation to define your worth is dangerous and exhausting. People's opinions are unpredictable and often self-serving. Their approval can vanish as quickly as it appeared, leaving you scrambling to regain their favor. This isn't sustainable, and more importantly, it's not fair to you. Denzel Washington's words serve as a wake-up call: respect isn't something you can beg for, it's something you command by first respecting yourself. And it all starts with setting boundaries. Boundaries are the foundation of self-respect. They communicate, this is what I need to feel valued and respected. If you can't honor that, then this relationship doesn't work. Setting boundaries doesn't make you harsh or selfish, it makes you clear and intentional about your well-being. And the amazing part? People who truly respect you will honor those boundaries. Those who don't, they were likely taking advantage of your kindness in the first place. It's important to realize that respect isn't given freely, it's earned. You earn it by demonstrating that you value your own time, energy, and happiness. Respect grows when others see you holding firm to your principles, even in the face of pressure. It's not about pleasing everyone, it's about being true to yourself. So here's the challenge: take an honest look at your relationships. Where are you giving more than you're receiving? Where are your boundaries being ignored? Recognizing these patterns is the first step toward change. Start small. The next time you're asked to do something that doesn't align with your priorities, say no, without guilt, without over-explaining. Remember this: respect begins with you. When you treat yourself with dignity, others will either rise to meet your standards or fall away. Either way, you're left with relationships, opportunities, and environments that align with your worth. Isn't that what you deserve? It's time to stop chasing approval and start demanding respect, because your well-being isn't optional. It's essential. Boundaries are a declaration of self-worth. They are your way of saying to the world, I value myself enough to protect my time, energy, and peace. As Denzel Washington wisely stated, you can't be afraid to protect your peace. These words are a reminder that safeguarding your mental and emotional well-being is not just important, it's essential. Protecting your peace means learning to say no when necessary and refusing to settle for less than you deserve. It's about standing firm in your value and creating space for relationships and opportunities that honor your worth. But let's be clear, boundaries are not about shutting people out. They're about building relationships where respect flows in both directions, where giving and receiving are balanced. A relationship without boundaries often becomes one-sided, draining, and ultimately unsustainable. Boundaries, however, create the framework for meaningful, reciprocal connections that uplift and empower both parties. Now, here's the tricky part: setting boundaries can feel uncomfortable, especially if you're not used to asserting yourself. You might worry about being labeled as mean or fear that saying no will lead to conflict. It's natural to feel this way. Many of us have been conditioned to equate niceness with compliance, to believe that saying yes keeps the peace. But here's the truth: when someone can't respect your boundaries, they're showing you they don't respect you. And that's a red flag you can't afford to ignore. Think about it. A true friend, a supportive partner, or a respectful colleague will appreciate your honesty. They'll understand that your boundaries are not an attack on them but an act of self-care for you. On the other hand, those who react negatively to your boundaries are often the ones who benefited most from you not having them. Their resistance isn't about you, it's about their loss of control over what they were taking from you, whether that was your time, energy, or emotional labor. Establishing boundaries is an act of courage. It's you taking a stand for your well-being, even when it feels uncomfortable. And like any new habit, it gets easier with practice. The more you set and uphold your boundaries, the more confident you'll become in your ability to protect your peace and demand mutual respect in your relationships. Here's an actionable step to get you started. Grab a notebook or open a note on your phone and write down 3 boundaries you'd like to establish in your life. Maybe it's setting clear limits at work to avoid burnout, like not answering emails after a certain time. Perhaps it's protecting your personal time by learning to say no to plans that don't align with your priorities. Or maybe it's being more assertive in a relationship where you feel your needs are not being met. Once you've written them down, take it one step further. Share one of these boundaries in the comments below. Not only will this help you commit to your goal, but it will also inspire others in our community to do the same. Imagine the impact we could create by collectively learning to value our time and energy. Remember this: boundaries are not walls, they're bridges to healthier, more fulfilling relationships. They're a way of teaching others how to treat you while ensuring that you treat yourself with the respect you deserve. So, protect your peace unapologetically. Say no when necessary. And never, ever settle for less than your worth. Because when you honor your boundaries, you're honoring yourself. And that is the foundation of a truly empowered life. Kindness is undeniably one of the most admirable qualities a person can possess. It has the power to uplift, connect, and heal. But when kindness is given without limits, without thought, and without balance, it ceases to be an act of virtue. Instead, it becomes compliance. Compliance whispers to the world, "I'll sacrifice my happiness, my peace, and my needs to ensure you're comfortable." And that's where the danger lies. Denzel Washington reminds us of the truth behind real kindness, saying, "True kindness comes from a place of strength, not fear." It's a reminder that kindness, when rooted in strength, serves both you and those around you. It creates harmony, respect, and mutual value. But kindness born out of fear, fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being disliked, is not kindness at all. It's an act of self-erasure, a way of making yourself smaller to fit someone else's expectations. Here's the question you need to ask yourself: are you being kind because it reflects your values and who you genuinely want to be? Or are you being kind because you're afraid? Afraid of disappointing someone, of being judged, of feeling unwanted? The difference between these motivations is monumental. One empowers you, the other diminishes you. Intentional kindness is transformative. When your kindness is anchored in self-respect, it becomes a gift, something you choose to give, not something you feel forced to offer. It's the difference between helping someone because you care and helping someone because you're scared of saying no. The former strengthens relationships, the latter breeds resentment and imbalance. Think about your own life for a moment. How often have you said yes when you wanted to say no? How many times have you gone out of your way for someone, not because you truly wanted to, but because you felt obligated or feared the consequences of declining? Each of those moments might seem insignificant on its own, but they add up. Over time, they can leave you feeling drained, undervalued, and even resentful. This is where firmness comes in. Pairing kindness with firmness doesn't make you less kind, it makes your kindness more authentic. It allows you to set boundaries, protect your energy, and choose when and how to offer your kindness. It ensures that your kindness is a reflection of your values, not a response to external pressure. Ask yourself, what does kindness mean to me? Is it an act of giving or a strategy for avoiding conflict? If it's the latter, it's time to reevaluate. True kindness doesn't mean saying yes to everything or bending over backward to meet everyone else's needs. It means showing care and compassion in a way that honors your own well-being, too. Here's a practical exercise to consider. The next time you feel the urge to help, ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to or because I feel I have to? If the answer leans toward obligation, pause. Reflect on whether this act of kindness aligns with your values or if it's another instance of compliance. You'll find that when you're honest with yourself, you gain clarity and confidence in your decisions. Kindness is a beautiful thing, but it must be intentional. It should come from a place of strength, not fear. When you stand firm in your self-worth and pair kindness with respect for your boundaries, you teach others to value you, not just for what you do but for who you are. That's the kind of kindness that inspires, empowers, and builds lasting, meaningful relationships. Breaking free from people-pleasing is no small feat, but it's one of the most liberating and transformative steps you can take for your personal growth. The habit of constantly trying to please everyone may seem harmless on the surface, it's often mistaken for kindness or being a good person. But underneath, it's a draining cycle that chips away at your energy, confidence, and peace of mind. It leaves you running on empty, giving more to others than you can afford to lose. Denzel Washington's words cut to the core of this issue: don't be afraid to walk away from people who don't value you. Let that sink in. Walking away isn't about abandoning people or being heartless. It's about recognizing when a relationship or situation is no longer serving your well-being. It's about understanding that your worth isn't defined by how much you give or how much approval you can garner from others. It's a bold move, but one that reclaims your power and shifts your focus back to where it belongs, on yourself. Ask yourself this: how often do you say yes out of fear of disappointing someone, even when it's at the expense of your own needs? People-pleasing is rooted in fear, fear of rejection, fear of conflict, fear of being perceived as selfish. But here's the truth: constantly prioritizing others' comfort over your own peace isn't selfless, it's self-destructive. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you're giving and giving without replenishing yourself, you'll eventually hit a breaking point. Breaking free from this cycle starts with a simple but powerful habit: pause before you say yes. The next time someone asks for your help, your time, or your energy, take a moment to reflect. Ask yourself, does this align with my values and priorities? If it doesn't, say no, without guilt, without over-explaining, and without worrying about how the other person might perceive you. Remember, saying no isn't an act of rejection, it's an act of self-preservation. It's you choosing to protect your peace and focus on what truly matters to you. Now, let's be real. Saying no can feel uncomfortable, especially if you've spent years tying your self-worth to how much you can do for others. But here's the truth: the people who truly care about you will respect your boundaries. They'll understand that your no doesn't mean you don't care, it means you're human, with limits, needs, and priorities of your own. On the other hand, those who react negatively to your boundaries often reveal themselves as people who were more invested in what you could do for them than in who you are. When you stop trying to please everyone, something incredible happens. You reclaim your energy, your confidence, and your peace. You start living in alignment with your values instead of bending to others' expectations. You become more intentional about how you spend your time and who you invest in. And perhaps most importantly, you learn to value yourself independently of others' opinions. Here's a challenge to help you take the first step: the next time someone makes a request of you, pause. Reflect on whether it aligns with your goals, values, and well-being. If it doesn't, practice saying no, firmly but kindly. It might feel awkward at first, but with practice, you'll find that each no becomes a little easier and a lot more empowering. Breaking free from people-pleasing isn't about becoming selfish, it's about finding balance. It's about giving from a place of abundance rather than depletion. It's about prioritizing your peace and honoring your boundaries. And when you do that, you're not just changing how others treat you, you're changing how you treat yourself. And that shift will transform your life in ways you never imagined. Your time and energy are your most valuable assets, irreplaceable resources that shape the quality of your life. Once spent, they can't be regained, which is why they deserve your utmost care and intentionality. Denzel Washington, a voice of wisdom and relentless determination, emphasizes this truth with his words: "Success doesn't come to you. You go to it." These words serve as a powerful reminder that investing in yourself is not optional, it's essential. Take a moment to think about where your time and energy are going. Are you pouring yourself into others, constantly meeting their needs, fulfilling their expectations, and making their dreams a reality? And how much of that same energy are you dedicating to yourself? If you find that the scales are tipping too far in one direction, it's time to reassess. The imbalance isn't just a drain on your energy, it's a disservice to your potential. Investing in yourself starts with prioritizing your personal growth. This means setting goals that matter to you, goals that excite you, challenge you, and push you toward becoming the best version of yourself. Whether it's pursuing a career ambition, learning a new skill, or improving your mental and physical well-being, these investments in yourself are the foundation of success. And let's be clear, success doesn't just mean material wealth or recognition, it's about living a life that feels fulfilling and aligned with your purpose. Imagine what your life could look like if you focused on your growth with the same energy you dedicate to others. Think about the dreams you've put on hold, the skills you've wanted to develop, or the relationships you've longed to nurture. What would happen if you decided that your aspirations are just as important as anyone else's? When you choose to value your time and energy, you're choosing to value yourself, and that's where real transformation begins. Denzel's wisdom reminds us that success is proactive. It doesn't arrive at your doorstep wrapped in a bow. It requires intention, effort, and persistence. This means carving out time for the things that matter most to you. It's about being selective with your energy and unapologetically saying no to things that don't align with your goals. It's about understanding that every moment you spend is either moving you closer to or further away from the life you want to create. Here's a practical exercise: reflect on your daily and weekly routines. How much of your time is spent on activities that contribute to your growth and well-being? How much of it is spent on things that drain you or don't align with your priorities? Write down 3 changes you can make to reclaim your time and energy, whether it's setting boundaries with others, limiting distractions, or dedicating an hour a day to a personal goal. Then, commit to taking action. Remember, investing in yourself also means surrounding yourself with people who uplift and inspire you. The relationships you nurture should reflect mutual respect, support, and encouragement. When you're in the company of those who see your value and push you to reach higher, your growth accelerates. And when you cut ties with those who drain your energy or hold you back, you create space for opportunities and connections that align with your worth. The beauty of prioritizing your time and energy is that it sets the tone for how others treat you. When you demonstrate that you respect your time, others will too. When you show that you value your energy, the people around you will begin to respect your boundaries and your focus. This isn't just about achieving success, it's about creating a life where your time and energy are spent on things that truly matter. So, take a moment now. Reflect. Where is your time going? How are you spending your energy? And most importantly, how can you reclaim those resources to invest in yourself? Success doesn't wait, it requires action. And the best investment you can ever make is in the person you're becoming. Start today. Your future self will thank you. Denzel Washington often emphasizes a truth that's both simple and profound: actions speak louder than words. In his words, what you do speaks so loudly that I can't hear what you say. Think about that for a moment. Words are easy, they cost nothing, require little effort, and can be manipulated to sound perfect. But actions? Actions reveal the truth. They lay bare a person's priorities, character, and intentions. How many times have you heard someone make promises they didn't keep? A friend says they'll change, a colleague promises to step up, or a partner claims to care, but their behavior tells a different story. The next time this happens, don't just listen to their words. Pay attention to their actions. Do they follow through? Do their choices align with their claims? If not, it's time to reevaluate their role in your life. A person's actions are the clearest indicator of their truth, and if those actions consistently fail to match their words, they're showing you who they really are. But this principle isn't just about evaluating others, it's about holding yourself accountable too. How often do you catch yourself talking about your dreams, ambitions, or goals without taking tangible steps toward them? It's easy to say, "I'll start that business one day," or "I want to get in shape," or "I'm going to learn a new skill." But unless those words are backed by consistent, focused action, they remain just that, words. Denzel's wisdom challenges us to bridge the gap between intention and execution. Dreams without action are just fantasies. Whether it's pursuing a new career, achieving a fitness milestone, or starting that long-delayed passion project, the key lies in taking the first step, and then the next, and the next. Small, consistent actions add up to monumental change. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. Let's make this practical. What's a goal you've been talking about but haven't acted on yet? Is it starting a side hustle? Learning a language? Getting healthier? Whatever it is, break it down into small, actionable steps. If your goal is to write a book, start with 300 words a day. If it's fitness, commit to a 20-minute workout 3 times a week. If it's learning a skill, spend 15 minutes each day watching tutorials or practicing. The key is to move from intention to action. Action also builds trust, not just with others, but with yourself. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, you reinforce your confidence and self-belief. You prove to yourself that you're capable of achieving what you set out to do. On the flip side, failing to act can erode your trust in yourself, making you feel stuck and unmotivated. Remember, your actions define you far more than your words ever will. They create the life you live and the legacy you leave behind. They show the world what you value and what you're willing to fight for. And when your actions align with your intentions, they create a sense of purpose and fulfillment that words alone never could. So here's your challenge: identify one area in your life where you've been relying on intention instead of action. Write down one concrete step you can take today to move closer to your goal. Then, commit to it. Repeat this process daily, no matter how small the step. Over time, you'll see the momentum build, and the gap between your dreams and your reality will start to close. Your life isn't shaped by what you say you'll do, it's shaped by what you actually do. Let your actions speak for you. Let them show your character, your priorities, and your strength. And when people look at your life, let them see a story of courage, effort, and perseverance, not empty words, but powerful actions. You hold the power to transform your story. It's time to stop settling for just being nice and start embracing a life built on respect, clear boundaries, and unwavering self-worth. Take to heart Denzel Washington's powerful reminder: you are what you accept. Demand more, and you'll get more. The life you deserve is waiting, you just need to claim it. Thank you for spending your time with us here on Motivation for Success. If this video sparked inspiration in you, don't keep it to yourself. Hit the subscribe button, like the video, and share it with someone who could use a boost of motivation today. Together, we can rise, inspire, and achieve greatness. See you in the next video.